I froze in the middle of the opulent ballroom, champagne flute halfway to my lips, as my mother-in-law's voice sliced through the murmur of polite chatter like a knife. "Oh darling, you brought the dropout? How quaint. Doesn't he know this party's for people who've actually achieved something?" Her laugh tinkled like shattering crystal, and the cluster of guests around us turned, their eyes glinting with amusement. My wife Elena stood beside me, her hand limp in mine. She didn't squeeze back. She didn't defend me. She just smiled that tight, perfect smile and said, "Mother, please." But her eyes, God, her eyes darted away, and in that split second, something inside me cracked. We'd been married for 5 years, Elena and I. She came from old money, the kind that summered in the Hamptons and wintered in Aspen. Me, I was the guy who dropped out of college to chase a dream of building my own tech startup. It hadn't panned out yet. Investors were ghosts, and our savings were dwindling. But Elena had always said she believed in me. "You're my rock, Jake," she'd whisper in bed, her fingers tracing my chest. Now, standing in this sea of tuxedos and gowns, I felt like a pebble in a storm. Her father clapped me on the back a little too hard. "Son, maybe next time leave the wife at home with the real men." The room spun. Elena tugged my arm. "Let's get some air," she murmured, but her voice lacked warmth, like she was reciting lines from a script. Outside on the terrace, the city lights blurred through my unshed tears. "Why didn't you say something?" I asked, my voice raw. She sighed, fiddling with her diamond necklace, the one her parents gave her on our wedding day, not me. "Jake, they're just teasing. You know how they are." But I didn't. Not really. Her family had always treated me like an amusing pet, but tonight felt different. Sharper. And Elena? She'd been distant for months. Late nights at the office, her phone buzzing at odd hours, quick to lock the screen when I entered the room. I'd chalked it up to stress, her high-powered job as a lawyer in her father's firm. "I love you," she said now, leaning in for a kiss that felt obligatory. Her lips were cold. As we drove home in silence, doubt wormed its way in, a quiet whisper. What if it's not just them? What if it's her? The next morning, I woke to an empty bed. Elena was already up, humming in the kitchen like nothing happened. "Coffee," she offered, sliding a mug across the counter. Her smile was bright, but her eyes were tired, shadowed. I nodded, watching her. She was beautiful, dark hair cascading over her shoulders, that effortless grace. We'd met in a coffee shop. I spilled my latte on her laptop, and instead of yelling, she laughed. "Fate's way of saying hello," she'd said. Now, as she checked her phone for the 3rd time in 5 minutes, I felt like a stranger. "Who was that?" I asked casually. She flinched. "Just work. Client stuff." Her fingers tapped the screen, deleting something. Suspicion bloomed, hot and unwelcome. I pushed it down. No, not Elena. She was my anchor. But the clues piled up like unpaid bills. That afternoon, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the nightstand. A text from Alex, work. "Can't wait for tonight. Miss your touch." My heart slammed against my ribs. Alex? Her colleague, the polished guy from the firm, the one her parents adored. I stared at the words, denial flooding me like a tidal wave. It had to be a mistake. A joke. I put the phone down, hands shaking, and pretended I hadn't seen it. When she emerged, towel-wrapped and smelling of lavender, I forced a smile. "Everything okay?" she asked, tilting her head. "Yeah." I lied. "Just thinking about the party." She rolled her eyes. "Let it go, Jake. They're snobs, but they're family." Her family. Not mine. Days blurred into a haze of feigned normalcy. I'd catch her whispering on calls, hanging up when I approached. "Wrong number," she'd say, but her cheeks flushed. At night, she'd turn away in bed, claiming exhaustion. My mind raced. Heartbreak gnawing at the edges, suspicion turning to poison. I started checking things. Her email, open on the laptop one evening. Dinner reservations for 2 at that Italian place we loved. But the date was last week, when she'd said she was working late. With Alex. Anger simmered, but I swallowed it. Maybe it was innocent. A business dinner. Denial was my shield, fragile as glass. Then came the breaking point. I followed her. God, I hated myself for it, tailing her cab like some jealous fool from a bad movie. She stepped out at a sleek downtown bar, her red dress hugging curves I knew by heart. Inside, through the window, I saw her slide into a booth beside him, Alex, with his smug grin and tailored suit. Her hand on his knee, his lips on her neck. The world tilted. Betrayal hit like a freight train, shattering the trust I'd built our life on. I stumbled back, bow rising. How long? Why? Was it the pressure from her family? Their whispers that I wasn't good enough, that she deserved better? I confronted her that night, waiting in the dim living room like a ghost. She walked in, lipstick smudged, and froze. Jake, you're up late. Her voice trembled. Who's Alex? I demanded, my words cracking. She collapsed onto the couch, tears streaming. It just happened. My parents. They kept saying you weren't ambitious enough, that I'd outgrown you. Alex understands my world. Understands? The anger exploded. Your world? What about our world, Elena? The one we promised forever. She sobbed, reaching for me. I love you, but I don't know anymore. I'm sorry. Sorry. The word echoed hollow. Heartbreak swallowed me whole as I packed a bag. The house we'd filled with dreams, now a tomb of lies. Driving away, tears blurring the road, I reflected on the collapse, the subtle shifts I'd ignored, the trust I'd given freely. Her betrayal wasn't just with Alex, it was choosing their approval over us. In the rear view, our life faded, but in the pain a spark, I'd rebuild. Alone but whole. The dropout who finally graduated from illusions.